people come. Yeah, a lot of cameras. You ready? Put the mic around.
Yeah, you could put the mic on the harmonium.
Don't work it. You don't have to open it. Mic here. It's too loud there. Ready. Is that for me or for them?
That's for you.
For me, it's very, very low. Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jai Girivara Dhari Jai Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Ballabha Jai Girivara Dhari Jaya Girivara Dhari Yasodanandana Jai Bhajananandana
Yasodanandana Bhaktivedanta Munatira Manachari Ayo Kunjabe Kunja Bimadi Munatira Manachari Ayo Kunjabe Kunja Bimadi Dharma Gopi Dharma Jai Girivara Jai Girivara Gopi Dharma Dharma Girivara Jaya Girivara Yasodanandana Bhaktivedanta Yasodanandana Bhaktivedanta Munatira Manachari Jai Ho Kunjabe Jaya Kunja Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Kirtan. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Wow. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. 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 Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hare. Bala Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hare. Bala Nitai Gauranga Jai Gaur Hare. Gaura 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 Hare. Gaur 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 Hare. Gaur 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 Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Yo! Kirtan forever. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Chant them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Shrinam. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Back home. Radhesham. Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chant down. Whoa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Kirtan! Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Go, go, hey. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bol Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi. Shestai Gaur Premanandi. Gaur Premanandi. Jai Jai Sri Radha. Jai Jai Sri Radha. Jai Jai Sri Radha. Shine. Kirtan forever. Wake everybody up on Sunday morning. Actually, you can stay up. You can stay up. Yeah, it's much better as higher. It never comes down. Is there a verse behind me? On the, no, nothing. Okay. All right. Huh? There is. Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending my humble address. Today I'll do my best to glorify the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today I got the freedom to choose a verse. Usually when I travel someplace, I'm obliged, and rightfully so, to speak from any verse from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, and all verses are relevant. They're pregnant with divine wisdom. Just one sentence, one word, one syllable of Bhagavatam is glorious. But I sat down and I thought I would speak from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, chapter 24, verse 65. I'm just going to quote the verse because we don't have a lot of time. Yasya nanam makara kundala chauru karna barjat kapola su bhagam sa vilasha hosham. Nityot shavam na tatripur dirshabhi pi bhantyo naryo narascha mudita kupita nimescha. Translation. Krishna's face is decorated with ornaments, such as earrings resembling sharks. His ears are beautiful, his cheeks brilliant, and his smiling attractive to everyone. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. Whoever sees Lord Krishna sees a festival. His face and body are fully satisfying for everyone to see. But the devotees are angry at the Creator for the disturbance caused by the momentary blinking of their eyes. Omagyan timirandasya ginangana shalakaya chaksunmilitam jena tasmai si gurave namaha. Sri Chaitanya manobishtam shtapitam jena bhutale shwayam rupa kadamayam dadanti svapatantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama. So I have the great privilege, and I'm very honored to again be able to speak, and I've chosen this specific verse this morning as me or myself and my team of festival producers have come to the UK to actually explore the possibilities of bringing our festival program to United Kingdom in September 2026. The word's out. It's not a rumor, it's true. And it's a little bit away, but to do something big and significant and glorious, as Srila Prabhupada would want it, we need time to prepare. So we have a year. And you'll be informed throughout the year of how it's all evolving and developing. And actually, we've been developing and we've been refining our festival program to the highest level of professionalism. Professionalism, high quality, as Prabhupada would like it, with devotion for over 35 years now. In Europe, in America, South America, 2 times to Brazil, Australia 2 times, and beyond. And eloquence is truth, spoken concisely, so rather than go on a long-winded talk about how great we are, I'd like to quote the mayor of Cincinnati, who very graciously came to our festival there a couple of years ago. And after the festival, he asked to speak to me. And I said, "Yeah, of course, I'll speak to the mayor." And he came and he said, "Swamiji, your show is on the level of Broadway." And I went, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, because he attended Broadway often." Then he paused and he said, "But it's better." I mean, we're trying our best, and we've got some very distinguished ballet dancers and silk rope performers and artists and speakers and so forth, actors. We draw from a pool of devotees, especially in Ukraine. They're very talented, and a lot of the girls are teaching ballet and different Odissi dance and different dances, so we've got a good pool. He said, "But it's better." And I said, "Thank you, sir. How's it better?" He said, "Because you guys have a message." And that's the point. You have a message. It's our way of preaching through festivals, especially through theater, and we're giving people the message of Krishna consciousness. And he appreciated that. There's that saying, what is the use of a bowman's arrow unless it pierces the heart of his opponent? In the same way, what is the use of poetry unless it melts the heart of those who hear it? So, especially our stage program and especially our theater productions, I've seen in the last few years that our men and women, boys and girls, have become so expert, and because of their progress in Krishna consciousness, very often I'm always standing by watching the audience. That's my greatest pleasure. And many times they cry. Many times they cry. This lotus flower that's been closed. Their Krishna consciousness has been closed for millions of births. They see a play about Krishna, about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it starts to open. There's nothing more satisfying than seeing them actually cry tears. I mentioned it the other day. We did a festival. It was called Krishna in Vrindavan. It was a puppet show, but it was for the children, but also for the adults. The puppets were very expertly made and very wonderful production. And afterwards, the play finished, boom, and there was silence in the audience. People were like stunned. And one little girl, I found out later, she was 7 years old. She stood up, and she was sitting on the lap of her mother. She stood up on the lap of her mother, and she said very loudly, "Mommy, I want Krishna!" And my heart melted. I never forget it. And sometimes, when you're developing these programs, there's so much organization and traveling and this and that and obstacles, and I just remember, "Mommy, I want Krishna." And I get the strength to carry on. So Bibi Govinda Maharaj, he calls our program the greatest show on earth. if only because of the message. Actually, I want to develop it to the level, I'm not exaggerating, to Cirque du Soleil. Have any of you been to Cirque du Soleil? I've been. You can raise your hands, okay. To see how they do. Fantastic production. Many, even sometimes 100 of performers. And that's because Prabhupada always, he said, my only fault, quote unquote, is I wanted to do everything big. So big presentation, big book distribution. We have our Bhadra campaign. Big, or let us say, very beautiful, devotional deity worship. Big farms that become actually self-sufficient. Big gurukuls where we train future generations of devotees. This was Prabhupada's vision. So we've taken on this service. Prabhupada often talked about how he wanted to take the world over by culture. I heard him say it one time, take the world over by culture. I thought you'd take the world over by revolutions and war. It never works. We have the best culture. We have the original culture. Our culture is not Indian, by the way. We call our festival Festival of India, but it's really the festival of the spiritual world. Krishna appeared personally, Swayam Bhagavan in India, and his various expansions, the Dasa avatars, because Bharat is a special place. It's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as the most pious place in the universe. So Krishna appears there, but the pastimes and the culture that he's presenting is really even beyond Vaikuntha. which is the official kingdom of God. Vrindavan is the playground of God, where one can, if qualified and by mercy, have a very loving relationship with Krishna. So this is the culture that we're spreading, the culture of the spiritual world. Therefore, I find that it's attractive all over the world. People from all ways of life and different situations and different languages, they're all drawn to the universal message of Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, Krishna says he's the seed-giving father of all living entities. And George Harrison, who purchased this place, it's proper to speak about him and thank him. He said, in the same light, everyone's a devotee of Krishna. Some know it and some don't. So we're not sharing some national culture. We're sharing the universal culture of the spiritual world, which really you could say is the peace formula. Our movement's very can solve the problems of modern society. It actually can. Peace will only be achieved when we see what we have in common, not fighting over our differences. And our languages are not in common. The color of our skin is not in common. Our birthplace not in common. What is in common? We're all Krishna's parts and parcels. If he's the Supreme Father from whom everything is coming, and all living entities are created, we're all brothers and sisters. That's the peace formula. So we have a very important role to play, and it will become more apparent as time goes on, as the world gets worse, and our devotees become more pure, because purity is the force. Then we'll see amazing things in future generations. But we're just the pioneers right now, and we're trying to take up what Prabhupada called a cultural conquest. Now, I became inspired in this cultural conquest through the arts, through festivals, actually in the very beginning of my career. Can you call it a career? Okay. My career in Krishna consciousness. It came in the form of my initiation lecture, my initiation letter, which Srila Prabhupada sent to my temple president December 10th, 1971. That's the day that Prabhupada accepted me and many other of my illustrious godbrothers and godsisters in Detroit. So in that letter, listen to this. Prabhupada wrote to the temple president, "Please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated November 22nd, 1971, along with beads and letters from several devotees at the Detroit temple. I am very glad to accept these students as my duly initiated disciples, and their names should be as follows." That's my birthday, spiritual birth. Brian Tibbetts, Indra Dumna Das, Eileen Tibbetts, my former wife, Kripa Mai, and Heidi Paiva, Hari Shakti Dasi. They're all very nice boys and girls, Prabhupada wrote, and I have very much appreciated their attitudes of devotion and surrender as displayed in their letters to me. I have replied them under separate cover. I very much approve of your festival plan throughout the cities, colleges of your state. Actually, this roving Sankirtan and college program is the most appropriate plan for spreading Krishna consciousness and preaching. I have just received a letter from Rupanuga of a very large festival he is planning for Central Park in New York. His conjecture is very nice, and I want that. I want that as many festivals as you can do should be held in every city of the world. Wow, that's my initiation letter. Like, hello, what am I supposed to do? Like, whoa. I'm always thankful to Krishna that I have somehow got so many wonderful boys like yourself to assist me in this way. Now it is practically in your hands to finish and push on what I have started. I am now getting all respect and honor, so now you must preserve that standard and not dishonor me. Thank you very much for helping me. I hope this finds you in good health and cheerful mood. Your ever-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada was ingenious in his way and strategy of spreading the movement. All the departments, all the programs, all the various activities of preaching are essential. It's like this harmonium. It's a beautiful harmonium. It's all made of many parts. If you take one part out, the other parts won't work. So any service one is doing in this movement should always be considered significant. We have our bold preachers traveling the world. We have temple managers. We have mothers with babies. We have fathers doing business. It's all part of the greater scheme of Krishna consciousness. It's all very important. And to inspire us, it's kind of interesting. Prabhupada would travel, and when he was in, let us say, Los Angeles, he would say, this deity worship, this is our most important activity. Then he'd go to Dallas, we had a school. This Gurukul, this is our most important service. And then he'd go to New York. This book distribution is our, and then he'd come to, Europe. And this farm community. He was so intelligent. Everyone thought, I'm doing the most important. And you are. But I inherited this service, for better or worse. And we're trying to make it as successful as we can. And we're going to bring it here. You're already successful in your festival programs. I've seen there's a festival group, not a big group, but they're doing amazing seva. And of course you have your Maha Mahotsava festivals, Janmashtami, Radhastami, etc. Our festival approach is for the people. Because this is the Sankirtan movement. And we have festivals in our temples to invigorate us, to purify us, to become strong in Krishna consciousness. But the festivals that we're offering, if you accept us, here in the UK is for the people, by the people, of the people. It's the preamble, the Constitution in America. But it's for the people. So if you come to one of our festivals, you won't see us. You won't see us. We're in the background. We're the stage hands behind the main stage. We're cooking the prasadam off-site. We're behind the tables and all the booths. And we're performing on the stage, etc., etc. So it's really just coming into the wonderful world of Krishna consciousness. This is the whole idea, to come into the wonderful world of Krishna consciousness. Now these festivals, all festivals in Krishna consciousness are actually, I was thinking, an intricate part of our Vaishnava tradition. Very intricate. And especially in our ISKCON movement. I was looking that in our Vaishnava calendar, there's a festival to observe almost every day, especially September. There's so many festivals. And Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada writes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I was reading that there are 32 offenses to be avoided while serving Krishna. And the second one out of 32 offenses to be avoided in our practice of Krishna consciousness is, one should not fail to observe the various festivals for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such as Janmashtami and Rath Yatra. There's a warning. Don't miss the opportunity. He says, do not fail to observe various festivals. And in another light, another way of saying that is Bhaktivedanta Thakur. In his writings, he said, festivals like Janmashtami and Ekadasi are mothers of devotion for devotees who properly respect them. So from both sides, we're getting that impression. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur also writes, furthermore, in Harinam Chintamani, verses 83 and 84, one should observe Ekadasis, the appearance days of the Lord, and all important festivals. Why, he writes, this endeavor will bring good fortune. One should spend the entire festival day and night chanting and singing the glories of the Lord in the association of saintly devotees. We have to up the standard, right? Prabhupada saying the entire day and night. Some devotees do that on Ekadasi, but one day we'll be so fired up at our festivals, we'll continue chanting and dancing the whole night. And also in Rasikananda. Rasikananda is you could say like the original second generation of devotees after Mahaprabhu. Rasikananda's in his book, Sri Shyamananda Shataka, chapter 8, verse 62. From there we learn that in the spiritual world there actually is a festival every day. We often quote, isn't it the Brahma Samhita? In the spiritual world, every word is a song, every step is a dance. The flute is the constant companion, and there's a festival every day. At least I've been quoting, but I actually read the verse from Brahma Samhita. It doesn't mention a festival every day. So I had to does it say it anywhere? That in the spiritual world, there is a festival every day? And I came across this Sri Shyamananda Shataka, chapter 8. It's like, it just happened at the right time. And here he writes, Sri Rashikananda, Vrindavan is where every word is a nectar festival of song. That's poetry. In Vrindavan, every word is a nectar festival of song, where all walking is dancing, where effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, where love is spiritual and sublime, where all water is nectar, where the ground is paved with Chintamani jewels, where the trees bear new sprouts made of coral, leaves of sapphires, buds of pearls, sumana flowers of diamonds, and where there are many kinds of fruit made of rubies. Who wants to go there? So you could say in one sense our festivals here are practiced for there. Sadhan bhakti means rules and regulations, practice makes perfect, but through the purification that comes in the eventual awakening of love of God that's there in the heart, by practicing the activities of the residents of Vrindavan in the spiritual world, as the Prabhupada has given us that process, we can achieve all success. And one day, we will wake up. I was reading recently in The Harmonist, which was one of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's publications. He said that, I see no reason why all my disciples cannot go back to Godhead in one lifetime. That's a challenge, because Krishna says, Vasudeva Sarvamiti sa Mahatma Sudurlabhaha. After many, many births, one fully surrenders and becomes Krishna conscious. But we know that Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's more merciful. He doesn't accept offenses, Gauranga. He only accepts seva. We can't take advantage of that. We shouldn't abuse that. But he doesn't accept our offenses. He only accepts our service. He made it so much easier, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada was so expert at presenting this Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, beginning with Krishna through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even through his own Guru Maharaj. They were very strict in the Gaudiya Math, 64 rounds, and other things as well. Prabhupada came and made the necessary adjustments. That's within the power of the Acharya to make those changes. We can't make them, but Prabhupada has made them, so we can actually go back home, back to Godhead in one lifetime, and be part of this Vrindavan where there's a nectar festival of song. That should be our aim. And when Krishna comes to the material world, as we know, he brings the festivals with him. Seeing is believing, quote unquote. Seeing is believing, I can use it here. He comes to show us what is the nectar of the spiritual world, where every word is a song, every step is a dance, the flute is the constant companion, and there's a festival. He shows it. Of course, we don't participate. We don't have the adhikari, but we can see it, or if we can't see it 5,000 years ago, just as potent is to hear about it, to hear about these pastimes. They're non-different. Submissive hearing brings the purification, awakens the love of God. But no participation until you get pure. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he brings the Yuga Dharma of chanting Hare Krishna, and as a devotee, in a sense, he goes out and does the chanting, it's not just, quote-unquote, a transcendental show. He's inviting everyone to come on the stage. This is the difference between Krishna's pastimes, which we watch, and Mahaprabhu's pastimes, in which we participate. I think it's fair enough to say that this Krishna conscious movement is the modern day pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he spoke about the future. He says in Chaitanya Bhagavat that one day my name will be heard in every town and village of the world. So is that happening? Yes. And what's the main vehicle? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So Prabhu, in one sense, we're part of these pastimes. We're not pure devotees like those who helped Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're all gopis who came as male figures. We're just who we are. And Prabhupada noted that. He said one time, just as Lord Ram conquered Ravana in Lanka with monkeys and bears, I'm conquering the world with my disciples. But the power of the mercy of a pure devotee like that is that even the most fallen person can become a saint. My dear godbrother, Jayananda Prabhu, who before Krishna consciousness was a taxi driver, of course, I think he was always more than that, but he came and he served Prabhupada for some years, and Prabhupada wrote a piece posthumous letter that if you had any material desires, you've gone to Swargaloka, and from there you can promote yourself to Vaikuntha. But I say, because at the moment of your death, you heard the chanting. He didn't say he was chanting. Sometimes when death is very traumatic, you can't speak. Because you heard the chanting, I say, you've gone to Krishna Loka. Jayananda Prabhu, give him. And what chanting was he hearing? A tape recorder of Prabhupada playing, because all the devotees had gone to Mangal Arti. Tape recorder. So how powerful is that? The vibration of a pure devotee, even recorded, is as powerful as when he was present. So we should hear Prabhupada's lectures. And we should hear Prabhupada's bhajans. Kali Kali Nam Murupa Krishna Avatar. In the age of Kali, the incarnation of Krishna is the holy name. It's all powerful. And we should hear the holy name, especially from the lips of a pure devotee. Prabhupada said on several occasions that to hear the chanting from the lips of a pure devotee has a special effect. So I remember when we first joined the movement in the early 70s, the temples were always resounding with Prabhupada's bhajans. Bandeham, Sri Guru, Sriyuta, Parakamalam. I can still feel my heart fluttering when you're a new devotee. You go to sleep, and they'd even play in Detroit, they were playing the bhajans at night and in the morning. And you come back from Sankirtan, you're tired. And what was invigorating was Prabhupada's voice. So we all have our favorite kirtaniers, and they're pure in heart and they're expert, but Srila Prabhupada's very special. So I would encourage you to play Prabhupada's bhajans in your homes. I went to a home yesterday where Prabhupada was chanting japa. I could hear it throughout the whole house. It was soft, it was subtle, but it was there, it was very nice. So when the Lord comes, he brings the festivals with him as a means to awaken our Krishna consciousness. It's like the spiritual world comes into the material world through this festive atmosphere of Vrindavan. And I was thinking there's actually a verse like that in the Bible. It's Matthew 6:9. It's known as the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Means sacred be your name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's a little poetic way. Your kingdom, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This child's a little disturbing, Manaji. Yeah, I can't concentrate. So we see through the activities of Krishna when he was here, he gave us a vision of the spiritual world. How? He showed us what the festivals were like. So 5,000 years ago, Krishna's pastimes while on this earth allowed us to see the festive nature of Goloka Vrindavan, and just to hear about it, we get inspired. Now, Krishna Varnam Twisha Krishnam Shango Bhanga Shapashadam Yagnai Sankirtan Prayar Yajnatihi Shu Metashaha. That verse is a very important verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. It actually describes the incarnation of the Lord in the Kali Yuga. Although he's Tri Yuga avatar, it means that he only comes in 3 ages, because in Kali Yuga, why come? Everyone's so fallen. But he comes not as God, he comes as a devotee of the Lord. So that verse mentions that same person who was bluish black like a monsoon cloud 5,000 years ago, who appeared in Dwapara Yuga. He's come again as a devotee in a golden form. And he can be recognized. How will I recognize him? Because he's surrounded by devotees singing his sweet holy names. So that's Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya also came with festivals, big ones and small ones. It's okay. Nice things come in small packages. Small is beautiful. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, I was reading the other day, Kaviraj Goswami writes, Emata Bharamasha Kirtan Avashane Amra Mohotsava, means festival, Mohotsava. Amra Mohotsava Prabhu Kara Dine Dine. In this way, the Lord Chaitanya performed Sankirtan every day. And at the end of his Sankirtan, there was always a mango eating festival. Every day for 12 months. Well, that's an interesting festival. We think of festivals, so many departments, so many tents. This is just a festival of eating mangoes. Of course, eating mangoes with Lord Chaitanya, we can understand that's very special. But he also participated in big Maha Mahotsava festivals, because what was most dear to him was that festival of Ratha Yatra, where Jagannath came out and gave his darshan to all the people who may not come to the temple. And Mahaprabhu, what was his mood? He came to deliver Patit Pavana, Namo Mahabhadanaya, Krishna Prem Padayate, Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Tishve Namaha. Rupa Goswami noted this at their first meeting in Ramkeli, that he saw Mahaprabhu for the very first time. This shloka came from his heart, off his tongue. Who is this? Who are you? You're Krishna coming as the golden avatar to distribute love of God. And what kind of love of God? Braj Bhakti. Not just the official love of God in Vaikuntha, the official kingdom of God, but the intimate, loving sentiments that are experienced by the Brajbasis. You've brought that. No one knew about it before. Madhavendra Puri spoke about it, but you're explaining everything. And who are you giving it to? The fallen people of Kali Yuga. What is this? This is amazing. So Mahaprabhu, he would participate in the Ratha Yatra to inspire his devotees. Of course, he had a secondary reason, or you could say it's the first reason, to experience the love of Srimati Radharani that she has for him as Krishna, but that's another lecture. But those Ratha Yatras, they were big time. Mahaprabhu. And through the writings of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and other acharyas of the time, we learned that Lord Chaitanya's festivals were always on the highest level, highest stage of love of God. We hear some, because not everything was recorded. We wish that it was so, but we have Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other books written by associates, either directly involved or after a short time after the departure. But the effect, especially of the festivals, because you could consider Lord Chaitanya going out in Nadia and starting the Sankirtan movement with a group of devotees chanting through all towns and villages. That's also a festival. Festival means singing, dancing, little katha, some mango at the end. Everything Mahaprabhu did was like a festival. So therefore, when he departed this world, his devotees could not bear his absence and the absence of his festivals. Actually, when Mahaprabhu left, it took about 45 or 50 years for anyone to even pick up a mridanga or kartals. They were so devastated. Even having not met him, but just hearing about him from his pure devotee associates. When Mahaprabhu left, everyone was in such despair. They were in shock, and they couldn't get it together. So it was Narottam, Srinivas, and Shyamananda second generation, who took up the mantle. You know the pastime, Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan on the banks of the Padma River, which is not far from our temple, actually, in Mayapur. And Mahaprabhu fell into a swoon of ecstasy. And devotees are trying to, fan him and get him back up in the kirtan. And he said, Nitai, Nitai. So Nitai came over, and Mahaprabhu said, you take this prem, you put it in the Padma, you give it to the Mother Padma, the Padma River personified, with the instruction that one day, after we're all gone, a young boy named Narottam means the best amongst all male personalities, he will appear and she should pour this prema, this nectar over him, because he and his friends, Shamananda, Srinivasacharya, they'll carry on the Sankirtan movement. So you know the history. Mother Sitala has written a wonderful book about Narottam Das Thakur. But at the point that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, there were no, why have a festival? The object of our devotion, the object of our vision, the object of all our senses and serving, that person's gone now. As much as you're attached to something, when you lose it, to that degree you feel the separation. And the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they loved him more than anyone's ever been loved before. And love is reciprocal. So Mahaprabhu, he loved his followers more than anyone's been loved before. So what is the state? We don't even want to think about it. We're trying to get attached to Krishna, and we're hearing about separation from Krishna. But it also has its importance, but that's another talk. So we get an idea what it was like at that moment in history when the festival stopped. They just stopped for 50 years. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati, whose Samadhi Mandir is actually just off the Parikrama marg near Keshigat. You should visit it. It's still a very quiet, clean, and transcendently beautiful place. He wrote in his illustrious Chaitanya Chandamrita, chapter 12, it's verse 140. It's one of my favorite. Quote, the fortunate town of Navadvip remains on the earth. The seashore remains. The city of Jagannath Puri remains. The holy names of Lord Krishna remain. But alas, alas, I do not see anywhere the same kind of festival of pure love for Lord Hari that was there before. O Lord Chaitanya, O ocean of mercy, will I ever see your transcendental glory again? Like, that was the mood when he left. No more festivals. But festivals have to go on, rain or shine. So in order to revive such festivals, which bring joy to the devotees, as well as introduce non-devotees to this wonderful world of Krishna consciousness, the modern-day pioneer of the Sankirtan movement, because the Sankirtan movement went on, but it was a little dormant. Everything has a time, place, and a circumstance. So that when the time is right, the Lord takes action. So with the appearance of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur, the pioneer of our Krishna conscious movement, he greatly encouraged all kinds of festivals in the Vaishnava community. In his Chaitanya Shikshamrita, chapter 2, part 2, it's entitled Punya Karma Meritus Action. He writes, and you should, as a community, you might want to take note of the following. All the different kinds of festivals we can have. We have lots of festivals, right? It's like Prabhupada said one time, if I revealed to you how many material desires you have in your heart, you'd faint. And if he introduced to us all the rules and all the regulations we had to follow, there'd be a few people sitting in this room. He's so kind. But here, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, because we're on the subject of festivals, he reveals so many kinds of festivals. I was amazed when I read it. Here it is from Chaitanya Shikshamrita. He writes, festivals are of three types. Those centered on deity worship, those centered on family affairs, and those for public rejoicing. I love that. Public rejoicing. That's what ISKCON's doing. Public rejoicing. Deity festivals are often observed, and without doubt they generate piety, as they include a great gathering of people, feasting, musical performances, shows, food distribution of the needy, and giving gifts to the learned. If a person is capable of holding such festivals, but avoids to do so, he's an offender. Especially when these festivals are permeated with devotion to the Lord, they must not be avoided. There are many family occasions for festivals, like birthdays. See, here's permission. Who cares about taking birth in this material world? But if you take birth in this material world and you use that birth to become a Vaishnava or Vaishnavi, then your birth is glorious. Celebrate. But in Vedic culture, celebration your birthday means you give in charity. You give the gifts out to your loved ones. They may or may not give you gifts, but to develop a sense of kind of austerity, detachment from this world of birth and death, and to get the mercy of Hari-Gu and Vaishnavas, you may give some charity on your birth, but birthdays can be celebrated. But in that mood, not happy birthday to... What's happy about this world? The concept of good and bad, Kaviraj Goswami said, it's wrong. It's all bad. All bad. That's sadhu. He says, birthdays, feeding grains, marriage, shraddha rites, and sacrifices. A person is obliged to celebrate these functions to the best of his ability. A person should also sponsor fairs where the populace can gather for enjoyment. There are so many social festivals, such as harvest festivals, Pishta Kotsava, Shitalotsava, and Bharat Puja. I'll have to figure that out. I'll find out that one day what that is. And in time, Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur's most honorable, most illustrious son, Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, he really revived the Maha Mahotsava. Bhaktivedanta Thakur's giving to the general populace wholesome festivals on the birthday and your marriage day and here. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he took up the mantle of large, massive festivals for the public in his lifetime. And what's interesting, if you study them, they were very novel and very innovative in approach in order to attract all kinds of people to such events, in the hopes they might come in contact with the essence of Krishna consciousness at that festival. And that will be revealed to you by the following. In Bhakti Vikas Maharaj's book, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, there's a chapter, Theistic Exhibitions, which really means festivals. It's page 355 and 356. And I quote this often because my festivals are quite innovative. It's Ravinda Thakur who said, East is East and West is West, and never the two shall meet. Excuse me, Mr. Kitlin, we are proving you wrong. We're blending the East with the West in a very interesting production to inject Krishna consciousness in the hearts of the people. Rupa Goswami said, somehow or other. We started, with the ladies dancing in front. That wasn't there in the beginning. Nicely dressed, shy, chaste girls, beautiful gopi dots, fans like this. I got criticism for that. The face painting, that wasn't there in ISKCON in the beginning. I give away maybe 100 saris every festival we do, 200, 300 saris every day, free to the ladies who come, so they get the experience of wearing an Indian sari, makeup, and they buy some things in the shop, some perfumes or something. But then they come in the kirtan, they want to be part of the show, and they dance and they chant, and they walk away from the festival with Bhagavad Gita. So we can innovate without sacrificing the core tradition. This takes some experience. But, like, for example, we're using the internet now. There was no internet 100 years ago, but some devotees are using it very, very wisely, or television, etc., like that. So here's how far Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati went to innovate, to bring the general mass of people who might discover something at a Hare Krishna festival. Usually when the devotee festivals, it was, one khol, one drum, some kartals, the lecture by Guru Maharaj, some dancing and some feasting. But for the public, that's not so attractive. Like Prabhupada said, we could invite people, we could have a festival in the field or a program in the field, how many people will come. But if we build a big, beautiful, expensive temple, they'll come. And they'll participate in the hearing and chanting. So just listen how far he went in innovating Krishna consciousness. The festival was divided into two sections. Spiritual and secular. What? Secular. With items collected from every part of India. And the whole extravaganza covering more than 1 square mile. The secular division demonstrated miscellaneous departments of human endeavor. Okay? Medical, educational, agricultural, arts and crafts, cattle and livestock, child welfare, athletics and amusements. I haven't gone this far. Several provincial governments sent materials to be displayed. Other attractions were performances of athletic feats like muscle guys and jumpers, and, such as gymnastics, wrestling, boxing. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur had a boxing ring. Sword and stick play and jujitsu. There were musical competitions, dramas, film shows, a circus, and in the words of the harmonist, other varieties of innocent amusements. Innocence amusement. Prizes, medals, and certificates were awarded by deserving exhibitors and performers. I got one in boxing. I went to the Hare Krishna festival. I got defeated by a devotee in jiu-jitsu. All for a purpose. The spiritual section, as you came in, you go through, and then all of a sudden you come across the spiritual section. It's brilliant. The spiritual section was more elaborate. A museum contained figures of Vishnu and Krishna and other religious objects, such as things used by reputed sadhus. A book display featured volumes produced by different religious sects in diverse languages, and manuscripts of rare, unpublished religious works. There were photos and paintings of eminent sadhus and sacred places. A major draw was a huge relief map of India, occupying 1/3 of an acre, constructed on the ground with stone, cement, and brick, showing prominent holy places. The locations of all Gaudiya Math branches included, and the routes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda toured. Dramas in over 50 stalls depicted manifold religious performances about India, with emphasis on Lord Chaitanya's teachings. The practice of pure Vaishnavas, pseudo-Vaishnavas, and other religious sects were illustrated by life-size dolls, set against backgrounds of appropriate painted scenes, many representing incidents in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. I thought that was interesting. Other religious groups were invited, even, not necessarily theistic, because their people would come and they'd hear the superior message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Brilliant. Another novelty for numerous visitors, coming in the tens of thousands, was the brilliant illumination of the entire grounds by something that was recently discovered, electricity in India. Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur ki. So in relation to festivals in general, he once said, and I read it in the Harmonist, "We conduct festivals in the Maha to give all people an opportunity to associate with devotees, destroy their attachment to household life, display compassion for all living entities, develop a taste for chanting the holy name, and serve Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. The main purpose for the Maha's holding festivals, reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, and discussing Harikatha was simply to awake the soul's constitutional propensity to serve our beloved Krishna." Wow. So following in his footsteps, his most beloved son, our Srila Prabhupada, he imbibed the same mood, like father, like son. And you know the pastime of Prabhupada, he was only 5. He started organizing festivals. The Rath Yatra festival. He wanted a Rath cart, but his father, Gaur Mohan Dey, said, we don't have the money for that. And Prabhupada began to cry. The little boy started to cry. And a passing Bengali woman, she said, why is the boy crying? And Gaur Mohan Dey said, he wants a Rath Yatra cart. She said, I have one. A little boy, you have one? Yes. And she gave it to our Prabhupada, and Prabhupada enlisted the help of the neighborhood children. He's a 5, 6-year-old boy. He organized, even organized all the mothers. And they held an 8-day festival for young and old. And this festival he continued throughout his boyhood. And Prabhupada was very determined both to glorify Lord Jagannath by having Rath Yatra and for the purpose of giving out mercy. Where's the mercy? The devotees are there, but the general public, they may not even understand what this festival is. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said something really interesting at one Rath Yatra in the 1930s. He said, Rate cha vamanam drishtva purna janma navidyate. Rate cha vamanam drishtva purna janma navidyate. Simply by seeing the Lord on the chariot, simply by seeing the Lord in the chariot, one makes advancement for stopping the repetition of birth and death. Chandala, some fallen sinful person, a Jagai Maharaj, just to see Jagannath on the chariot, one makes progress for overcoming samsara. How it's so, that's something very deep and very mysterious. Actually, Nectar Devotion, there's a part of Nectar Devotion where Rupa Goswami writes that if the Rath Yatra cart is passing by and a Chandala, out of some sentiment of respect, he's not a Brahmin, he's not a Vaishya, he's not even a Chandala, just out of respect, Rupa Goswami said he's to be considered an eternal associate of Lord Vishnu. And bear in mind to think that the glories of chanting Hare Krishna, of which this whole movement's like a Brihat Mridanga, is exaggerating, is an offense. When we hear these statements, oh, really? Chandala? Yeah, he'll become. Once the seed is planted and it's watered, it's bound to grow. So the seed is there already in the heart. Pure love of God is already there in the heart. It's not something you have to go and buy or find or search for. Love of God is there in the heart. It just has to be watered. And a seed can sit on the shelves of some store for months or years. But the farmer comes, he takes the seed and he waters it, then it grows. So what's the watering process? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Shmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Bandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. Beginning with hearing and chanting. So the Chandala stands up. Oh, hello, sir. This movement is just a mood of a movement of mercy. So of course Prabhupada went on to spread the Rath Yatra all over the world. Now, it's a yearly occurrence in many countries. And then, well, big and small. Prabhupada, when he first came to the West, right, he had this great idea, 26 Second Avenue, to put on the Sunday Love Feast. Sunday Love. There's no Sunday Love Feast mentioned in the Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, in the Upanishads. No, there's no Sunday Love Feast. But again, Prabhupada was that's why he is the chosen son. No love feast, but it was Prabhupada's innovation. It's still going on to this very day, and many people have been introduced to that simple festival. Many of you are sitting here because you came to the Sunday. You may have come to the Sunday Love Feast to eat, but by taking that prasadam, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam. Srila Prabhupada wrote to my dear godbrother Tamal Krishna Goswami on August 8th, 1973, observe as many festivals as possible. That will keep both the public and devotees alive. Wow. What is life? Life is preaching. Observe as many festivals as possible. That will keep both the public and devotees alive. Festivals mean chanting, dancing, and the distribution of prasadam. So my team, my humble team, we're about 25, maybe 30. A small management team has come. We want to help all of you in this tradition of festivals. You have your festivals, they're remarkable, but we should always be looking, like, I often think we should have a vision of ourselves 5 years down the road, so we don't procrastinate. Procrastinate means to put off for tomorrow what can be done today. So we may think we have so long, but you never know how long you have in this world. We shouldn't procrastinate. So we should have a vision of what I want to be in 5 years. I'm at where I am now. I'm safe and secure, but I'm not back home, back to God. The race isn't over till it's over. I have a vision, what I want to be in 5 years, what I want to be in 10 years, what I want to be when, like, I'm 76. So it would have been better when I joined the movement at 19, to have these goals in mind. When I'm 20, 25, when I'm 40, you can think like, what, and then you have a goal and you have the means to achieve that goal. You have something fixed in your mind. So your festivals here are wonderful, beginning with His Grace Tribhuvanath. He was the personification of festivals because they weren't so big in those days, but when he played that mridanga like this, I used to go and Harinam with him in London. I'd leave, I'd escape France, no excuse, I just disappeared. And come out, a little bit of his bhakti, singing so nicely, people, and he had those programs, and they've been built up. There's a festival team now, and you have your Rath Yatra. But we should always think how to improve, until we give our lives to making our service perfect, and then the next generation carries on. That's how we should think. Until Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, until all the 14 worlds are chanting Hare Krishna. So Janme Prabhu Shai. He is my master birth after birth. We can serve Prabhupada until all his desires are fulfilled. We want to go back to the spiritual world and serve there. But we shouldn't ask for another service until the services that have been given to us are accomplished. That's proper etiquette. If your master, if your temple president, if you're whatever, they give you an assignment and then you come, you didn't finish it. What's the next assignment? Did you do the first? No, then go back. So a devotee thinks like that the Lord's desire is very clear, and especially Prabhupada's desire is very clear. Books in everyone's home, gurukuls everywhere, temples, farm communities where people can come take shelter during war. We should think until that's done, I won't come before my Guru Maharaj and say, can I do something else? At least the sentiment. Where we go, that's decided by the Lord. But that sentiment should be there, that we want to fulfill these desires. So festivals here, you've been doing really well, but we're coming to serve you to help bring it up a notch. With the understanding that these festivals are the most important thing. No. You can see that, you can sense that in that, the great saint Narada Muni, when he saw the fallen condition of Kali Yuga by Gyan and Vairagya personified, lamenting on the ground, he came across them and he said, why are you lamenting? They couldn't, people were no longer interested in renunciation or acquiring transcendental knowledge. So it's in the Padma Purana. Narada Muni said to the mother of Gyan and Vairagya, Bhakti, O Bhakti Devi, there is no age like Kali, because you will be established in every house and in every heart. Hear my vow, if I do not preach your message, subdue all other religions, and make devotional festivals prominent, then I shall not be considered a servant of Lord Hari. In Kali Yuga, those people who follow you, even if they are sinful, will attain Lord Krishna's abode without fear. So how's he going to do it? By devotional festivals. Narada Muni is like the patron saint. We think of him in our Polish festival tour for so many years. He's like our, in Christianity, you have these saints you call out to, Saint Christopher, make me safe when I travel. So we have a picture of Narada Muni on our altar, the patron saint, because he just go back and forth, he didn't stop, back and forth from the material of the spiritual, giving reports like this, the festivals, till we need his mercy, especially from this verse. O Bhakti Devi, there's no age like Kali, because you will be established in every house and in every heart. Really? Hear my vow. If I do not preach your message, subdue all other religions, and make devotional festivals prominent, then I shall not consider myself a servant of Lord Hari. In Kali Yuga, those people who follow you, Bhakti Devi, even if they are sinful, will attain Lord Krishna's abode without fear. What a privilege we have to carry on the work of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai, the Panchatattva, and all those great acharyas who have appeared in different generations, 5 generations. All of them were envisioning the worldwide community of devotees. So who can imagine when Prabhupada walked up the plank to the Jaladuta, there was one person there, I believe. I think that 33 million demigods were there watching, because they're all devotees of Krishna. And they know Krishna's desire that the Sankirtan movement would go to every town and village. And that's when it's happening. Prabhupada's going on the Jaladuta. He's going to the west. Finally, the play, the curtain's open. Da-da-da-da. We waited 500 years. Now the curtain, Govindam, Adi, Prabhupada going. And we're part of that. We're part of that prediction. We're the monkeys and bears. We're part of it. We just swept up in this tsunami of Prabhupada's desire and vision how to spread the movement in this way. Somehow we're all caught up. We're blessed. We are blessed to be part of the Sankirtan movement. So we're coming, preparing now. I actually have a meeting in a few minutes with the management here, with the traditional and in the mood of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, a contemporary theme, because when you see our festival, oh wow, we have contemporary dance, contemporary scenes, but the message are the verses of Bhagavad Gita which are spoken quite clearly in that contemporary. So we're mixing East and West. We're coming with a blade of grass between our teeth, begging all of you for the privilege to add to your many Jayapatakas. We have our Jayapataka, but Jayapataka actually means the victory flag. You have planted many victory flags. Just this building we're in now, the Saveli, the temple, the cow. When I came in, early 70s, there was nothing. And now, against so much opposition, you've persevered. Soho Street and Namhata, and BBT. So many victory flags. We want to add one more flag like that. When you go to Nepal, you'll see they have these lots of flags they put up at holy places which demonstrate the many victories they've had. So we want to add that to you with our greatest show on earth. And we want to improve while we're here, to touch the hearts of the Londoners and the Birminghamers, the Bristolers, whatever. It's a great effort because conditioned souls are not easily convinced about Krishna consciousness. Those of you who are preachers, you know that. It's not easy. It's not easy. Even if you put on a great festival. So you have to put on a really, really great festival. There's a verse like that in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Kanda. It's my favorite part. Madhya Kanda, 1:164. Ye Krishnara Mahotsave, Brahmari Vivala, Tahachari Nritya Kiti Kare Amagala. Bengali is like. Even the demigods headed by Brahma are overwhelmed by Krishna's festivals. Yet people give up such festivals to take pleasure in inauspicious dancing and singing. That's a good verse for Sankirtan devotees. You go out, sometimes you get depressed. No, I'm not interested. Get out of my way. Sometimes it happens. You put on a big festival and nobody comes. Like I think Prabhupada put a festival, was it Conway Hall, and just a few people came? Or was that in New York? I can't remember. There was 3 people. He gave a full lecture. But we want the masses to come. But Ye Krishnara Mahotsave Brahmadi Vibhala Ta Chari Nritya Gite Kare Amagala. Even the demigods headed by Brahma are overwhelmed by a Krishna festival. Yet, people give up such festivals and go away and take pleasure in inauspicious dancing. What's that? The twist? Inauspicious dancing and singing. But we will persevere. And what will be the result? Hari Bhakti Vilas 8-288. Bahudot Sharyate Harshad Vishnu Bhaktasya Nrityata Pad Bhayam Bhumer Disho Kipyam Dobhyam Vamam Galam Deva. Listen to this. In a variety of ways, the inauspiciousness of the earth is destroyed by the feet. The inauspiciousness of the directions is destroyed by the eye glances. And the inauspiciousness of the heavens is destroyed by the arms of Vishnu Bhaktas dancing in joy. In a variety of ways, the inauspiciousness of the earth is destroyed by the feet. The inauspiciousness of the directions is destroyed by the eye glances. And the inauspiciousness of heaven is destroyed all by the arms of Vishnu Bhaktas dancing in joy. We don't know what's happening when we go down Oxford Street. We see some reactions, but this is Hari Bhakti Vilas. This is actually what's happening. As Shakespeare said, it falleth like a gentle rain upon the heads of those below. Mercy. They don't know. And in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2-220, Ya Karoti Mahi Pala Harer Gehe Mahotsavam Tasyapi Bhavati Nityam Hare Loke Mahotsava. 2 times. O King, anyone who arranges a festival for Lord Hari in their home will, in return, have an eternal festival arranged for them in Lord Hari's own abode. Just being with Krishna, that will be the festival. Govardhana Dharambande Gopalam Gopurupinam Gokulatsava Me Ishnam Govindam Gopika Priyam. I worship Gopal, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, who has the form of a cowherd boy. He is the festival of Gokul. He is the festival of Gokul and the supreme controller of all. He is Govinda, the lover of the gopis. Srila Prabhupada ki. She festivals all over the world ki. Coming to London, the UK next September ki. Go Premanande! Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. That's all. Shri Bhagavat Prasadam ki. Oh, we have a couple of announcements to make. Hold on. Actually, I want to show you a short video very quickly, and then we'll go on with the Bhadra campaign. Where's our Vanamali? Are you ready to show it? What are you going to show first? Okay, watch this. This is Seeing is Believing. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Vanamali. Here we go. Chanting, dancing, and feasting later. What's he showing first?
Probably Summer Krishna.
Let's go.
Oh, okay. I'll take it off later.
I'm going to move.
Yeah, okay.
Where do we turn when all the stories of this world have been heard? What word remains that has not been spoken?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. For those of you who are still around, we'd like to extend an invitation for you to be part of this program on Bhadra Purnima. We're having a wonderful program from 10:30 to around 1 o'clock, celebrating this event. It's also very significant that today is Vishwarup Mahotsava. It's the day the elder brother of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and it's also the day that Srila Prabhupada took sannyas. When Srila Prabhupada was departing for America, one Indian gentleman said, "Swamiji, you going to America?" And Srila Prabhupada said, "No. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to America and I'm following." So, we are celebrating Bhadra Purnima. Bhadra Purnima means the full moon day of the month of Bhadra. There are many full moon days. We don't particularly celebrate them. Bhadra Purnima has a particular significance because Srila Vyasadeva attached great significance to it. He gave the Falashtuti. But more importantly, Bhadra Purnima celebrates the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The English, when they go to war, they shout out, "Lord, save the King." When the French go to war, they say, "Viva la France." This is their war cry. But for us, our war cry is Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. We celebrate the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada said there's two types of Sankirtan. The one with the small mridanga, which goes 25, 50 meters away. And then there's the big mridanga, the printing press, which spreads far and wide. So it's beautiful. This event propagated a revolution in the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam. For many years, the distribution of Srimad Bhagavatam was incidental. It was never on the bestsellers list. But in 2018, using this particular Falashtuti, 7,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam were distributed. And that has grown progressively, and this year we are trying for 68,000 sets of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although the Bhaktivedanta Manor is one of the biggest centers in the West, we are only trying for 500 sets out of the 68,000. So far we've done 350. And today we want to achieve another 150. We can only do that if everyone in the community comes together. So we'd like to appeal to those who are still around and those who are online. It's a wonderful festival. It's celebrating the plan of Lord Krishna, the compassion of Lord Krishna, the compassion of Srila Vyasadeva. So we'd invite you, and really will like for you all to become a part of the program today to see how we can make this a really great celebration. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.